Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Karen, and in this video I am going to talk about the next 4 books that I have read in the year 2018. The first book that I want to talk about in this video is Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. Is that her name? Yes, that is her name. So you probably already know what this is about. This is a very popular young adult novel at the moment because the film adaptation Love, Simon came out a couple months ago. And it is so good, you guys. So good. I have always been kind of interested in this book, but because it's YA and I typically don't read YA, I never really picked it up. And then I saw the movie and I immediately went to my library and got it because the movie is so cute. I really recommend it. I loved it. I thought it was wonderful. So I had to pick up the book, and I'm so glad that I did because the book really expands the characters in the film, and it is just really adorable. So in case you don't know what Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda is about, it's a young adult novel that takes place in present time, and you follow Simon, who is a young guy. He is in high school. I believe he's 17 and he is gay, but he has never told anybody this. This is something that he has been hiding for about 4 years, and even though he knows that coming out wouldn't be the biggest thing in the world because he knows that his family will most likely be very supportive, he knows that his friends are going to come around, he still can't bring himself to do it. So Simon develops a friendship with another closeted gay guy at his school, but this is an email friendship. So they send each other emails and text messages, but they don't know who each other is because they don't use their real names. They end up falling in love and really deeply caring about one another, but because they don't know who each other is, this creates a deep problem for Simon. Another problem for Simon is that this really annoying, horrible guy at his school finds his emails and starts to blackmail him because he wants to date one of Simon's friends. So that is essentially the plot of the book and of the film adaptation. And the book is just adorable. I loved every second of it. I was really hooked. Simon as a main character is fantastic. I want to be his friend. He's so funny. He's so engaging. He feels so real. And the observations that he makes, the way that he talks about being a part of the LGBT community and how much of a struggle it is to be in the closet feel so realistic and just rings so true. By far my favorite part of the novel is the emails between Simon and this other gay guy at school. His nickname is Blue, and that is the name that he uses so that Simon doesn't find out his identity. These were just the cutest text messages and emails, and they were so heartfelt, and I really enjoyed whenever you got one of those chapters that was just about the emails. So yeah, this is just adorable. If you have seen the film, I highly recommend picking up the book. If you have read the book, what are you doing? You need to go watch the film. And if you have not done either of those things, then you need to get on it because this is wonderful. I did give it 3 stars because I felt like the final pages were really cliche and just they fell into the YA trap, and I think that it could have been avoided. So because of the final couple of 40 pages, that's the reason why I gave it 3 stars. Otherwise, it really would have been a 5 stars because this was a highly enjoyable read. The next book is Pages for You. No. Oh, Pages for Her. This is the second book in a duology by Sylvia Brownrigg. This follows 2 women who they first meet in the first novel in the duology, Pages for You, and they are in college and they meet and they fall in love and they have this passionate relationship, and this book takes place 20 years after the fact. I made a whole video about this duology and this book, and I will link it in the bottom in case you want to know more about it. Then I read this gorgeous children's book, Malala's Magic Pencil by the wonderful Malala. This is just beautiful. If you know about Malala, the story in here will not shock you because it is a version of what has happened to her, but for kids. But this was just absolutely gorgeous. So the story basically is about Malala and what she would do if she had a magic pencil that she could use to write different things and to make the world a better place. And she uses this magic pencil to create a better world where girls are able to be educated all around the world and where girls and boys are equal. This is a beautifully made book. The illustrations are absolutely gorgeous, and it is just really, really a special book. I think that it is a perfect book to give to a child that is just a little bit too young to really understand the complexities of Malala's story and what happened to her, because this really does get her message across in a beautiful, beautiful way. And finally, I read The Immortalis by Chloe Benjamin. I have had my eye on this book for months. It was one of the books that I was really, really interested in when it was first released, and I'm really glad that I finally got to read it. However, not as good as I thought. So The Immortalis follows a group of 4 siblings who, when they're really, really young, they go to a woman who apparently can tell them the day that they are going to die. So the woman tells each of these kids the exact day when they are going to die, but she doesn't tell them all at the same time. So each one of them goes in one by one, and you follow these siblings live. Each of them gets a section, and you find out how this knowledge has affected the decisions that they have made. So let's talk about the positives of The Immortalis by Chloe Benjamin. I really enjoyed that the 4 siblings, they come from a Jewish family. I'm not Jewish myself. I don't really know anybody that's Jewish, so I don't know a lot about Jewish traditions, about the relationship with the Jewish faith, and I found that really interesting and engaging, and I really enjoyed that these characters came from a Jewish family. I also enjoyed that I really did care about some of these characters. I didn't care about all of the 4 siblings in the same way or with the same intensity, but some of them really got to me. For example, the first 2, Simon and Clara, I really felt for them, and I wanted them to fix their lives. I wanted them to have happy lives, and they don't. None of these children who then become adults, none of them have happy lives. And one of the reasons why they don't is because they really, after this experience with the woman, with the psychic, they lose touch with one another. They don't have the greatest sibling relationship. And this brings a lot of sadness, and this leaves them with a lot of things left unsaid. Another thing that I enjoyed about the book was that Chloe Benjamin was able to write each character as their own individual character. They are all very distinct people. That also has to do with the fact that they all have kind of out of the ordinary jobs. One of them is a dancer, another one is a magician, another one is a scientist that works with monkeys, and then the final one is an army doctor. So by them having these kind of non-typical jobs, you become invested in the story just because the jobs seem kind of random and you haven't really read about these jobs before. So Chloe Benjamin does a really good job at doing research on how people with these kinds of jobs would live. Now on to the problems that I found with this book. I found that a lot of it was not realistic at all. I think that Chloe Benjamin really wanted to write a book about a couple of people that had the knowledge of the day that they might or may not die, because a psychic might be wrong. You don't know. That's why you're reading the book. And some of the stories fit that better than others, so the ones that didn't fit too well, she had to make it fit somehow, and she had to like force it on the character. And that for me made some of the sections a little bit messy, and I didn't really enjoy that. They didn't feel like, you know, the progression of the story was happening organically. It just felt like Chloe Benjamin was constantly trying to make this thing work because she really, really wanted this thing to happen. Another thing that I didn't really love about the book was that I didn't understand why all of them lost touch with one another. I feel like if I had 3 other siblings, there would be at least one that I keep in constant touch with. Even if I'm very different than the rest of my siblings, I wouldn't just cut ties with all of them. And that made it really strange for me. I didn't understand why, if they were so connected and if they were so close when they were kids, when they were adults, they wouldn't really try to at least fix their relationships. Also, this book is not a happy read at any point. This book is just full-blown sadness and depression for the first page all the way to the end. And I did not think that I smiled once when I was reading it, which kind of lessens the experience. I mean, I think that for a good book and a book that really is kind of a family saga, which is what this really is, you have to have a mixture of light and dark. And this book is just constantly dark from the beginning all the way to the end. So overall, I could see what Chloe Benjamin was trying to do. I appreciate the premise of the story. I think the premise of the story is great. However, I don't think that the execution was very good, and it could have been a lot better. Would I recommend this to people? Not necessarily. I think that it is a book that the majority of people will have issue with, and you have to be a specific type of reader to like this. However, I am glad that I read it. I think the premise is awesome. I still do. I just wish it would have been tied together in a better way. So yeah, those are the next 4 books that I read. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have read any of these. Let me know if you agree or disagree with some of my comments. I would love to hear what you think. And have a wonderful day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!